Alright guys, so welcome to your fourth video, and what I did is I actually updated the server or the website. So now basically, as you can see, what we have is just a website that doesn't do anything. It says enter the food you would like to order, and I write tuna. We have no functionality built in yet. We can even hit enter and nothing happens. So what we want to do now is we're going to start building the scripts. Now remember, like I said, this program is basically going to consist of this HTML file, which is what you're looking at right here, a PHP file, and a JavaScript file. Now the PHP file is going to stay on your server, and the JavaScript file is going to be basically on your the user's computer. So that way, the user's computer and the PHP file on your server, they can communicate with each other behind the scenes, and all the user sees is this interface. It doesn't even see the complex stuff that's going on behind the scenes, but of course, we know what's really going on back there. Or do we? Let's go ahead and start coding that right now. So file, new, and let's just go ahead and PHP and save this as, we'll just go ahead and save this as foodstore.php. And by the way, guys, all of this source code is going to be available on my forum, tnbforum.com. So if you made a mistake, or if your program isn't working like mine, just go ahead and go to tnbforum.com, or if you go to thenewboston.org, then you can go ahead and click a link to the forum. Just go ahead in the PHP section, look for, or actually it'll be under the AJAX section, look for this. But anyways, the first thing we need to do is remember what this is going to do. The PHP file, well, let me back up. Remember what we're learning here. We're learning AJAX, asynchronous JavaScript, and XML. That pretty much means we're learning about a cool way to use JavaScript and XML together. Now this is why we need a PHP file in this, because the PHP file is going to generate the XML file, and then it's going to send the XML file to the client's computer. So remember, the JavaScript file, it sees the XML file even though it was generated from PHP code. Pretty confusing, but you'll see. I know it sounds complex, but it's actually really simple once you see this example. So the first thing we need to do is make a header, and the header, we'll just go ahead and put content type, might as well do everything proper, text slash XML. Now what this basically means is we're basically telling, it's basically housekeeping, these first couple lines I'm going to build. We're basically saying we're going to be generating XML content. Remember not to put FML, because that's something completely different. And if you make a mistake, you might say FML, but I'm getting off track. So basically, this is just a housekeeping thing whenever we generate an XML file with PHP. Another thing that we want to do is we want to echo, gotta be careful to type everything right this time, XML, and I actually want to put my ending tags right there. XML version. And these, if you never work with an XML file, it pretty much has like attributes and values, just like a HTML file. But the version is 1.0, and don't worry about what all this stuff means, because it's all housekeeping. You need this anytime you generate an XML file with PHP. But the encoding is UTF-8, and stand alone equals yes. And we write this because I'm actually standing alone right now in my room. So I'm just kidding, but you actually need that because it's housekeeping. So make sure you have the version, encoding, and standalone equals yes. And by the way, this is the only time you're going to have to see me type this. For the rest of the time, I'll just skip over it. Now, so this is basically what you need whenever you're making any XML file, just for housekeeping purposes. Now, what we need to do now is we need to make an XML element. So we start off by echoing, and we'll just go ahead and name this element response. Response. Now all of our code is going to be sent in between the beginning response tag and the ending response tag right here. So remember, the response right here is what the JavaScript file is going to see, and it's basically going to say, okay, this is what we're going to output under the input right here. It's either going to say, we don't have that food, or we don't have tuna, or yes, we do have cheeseburgers, or something like that. So that's what we're going to be creating dynamically using PHP. So the first thing we want to do is actually, let me tighten this up a bit.